Rode home, take two. I got a phone call right in the middle of wherever it was I was. Alright. Man, that totally derailed it, man. I just wanted to say I wasn't kidding when I said that the previous video was going to cause a shitstorm. But I think it needs to be approached again, because it is. You're right, Mike. It is. It's just it's a fundamental principle, and it needs to be discussed further, because it's it is what it is. And I'm trying. Oh, Father, help me to remain cogent in my presentation here. So, I mean, why does everything have to be convoluted? Why do we have to extrapolate all this extraneous information from something that should be simple? I mean, the Messiah said that the kingdom of heaven, the inheritors of the kingdom of heaven, are those who are as little children. Why shouldn't we just be teachable like small children and stop throwing all our adult garbage in? I mean, the Bible's written for children to understand, and yet here we think because we get past the age of 13 that somehow there has to be more. Does it really have to be more than just a simple story to keep you in line? I don't think so. It comes down to a simple question. I mean, the Messiah says, "Those who love me will keep my commandments." Does it have to be any more difficult than that? How does he know we love him? How we keep his commandments? Why does it always come back to this? I mean, whether it's one commandment or 10 commandments or 613 commandments, the concept is the same. When you had in the garden, it was fairly simple. It's one command: don't eat from that tree. And the knowledge of good and evil is knowing that you can transgress the commandments. How do you know it's evil? Because you were told not to do it. Or you were told to do this, or you were told not to do that. I mean, it's that simple. The things that they could do far outweighed the one thing they couldn't do. And the apple is simply the delicacy of temptation. That's how you're lured into sin, is through just simple temptation, whether it be murder, bearing a false witness, whoring. It doesn't matter what the sin is, even if they break the least of these. There's a commandment in there in the Torah where it says if you see a nest with a bird and its eggs, you can keep the eggs, but let the bird go. You can't have both. Put the nest back with the bird intact. You can't have both. That seems like a weird diminutive commandment, but it's important. It doesn't matter what it is. If you love him, you'll do that. That's where sin comes from. Sin is the transgression of the commandments. And it's all about a heart condition. Whether you regard him or if you disregard him. If you disregard your inheritance in him. Cain and Abel and Jacob and Esau are very similar in that the one who was cursed is the one who disregarded what he was told. If you look at Cain, he was told before he ever killed his brother. He said, if you do well, then you will be blessed. But if you don't, then you know that sin is waiting at the door. But you should be the master over it. There's the commandment. Did he do that? No. And what did he say? Am I my brother's keeper? Apparently, we're supposed to be our brother's keeper. which is the whole reason why I came into this conversation to begin with, is because I think this is the wrong way to go with this. I mean, why does everything have to be Red Shoe Diaries? You know? Why do we have to convolute it that way? Why do we have to pervert and corrupt a simple story? It's not really even a simple story. It's a piece of our history. Why does everything have to be driven through the homosexual muck? Because we're corrupt. Because we're corrupt. And that's what we do once we hit a certain age, if we haven't already been corrupted before we hit that age. So why does it have to be so convoluted? Why do we have to throw all our own, Bolshevism into it? Why can't it just be a simple teaching tool? Why can't we be as little children and just simply be taught? I don't think it needs to be any more than that. The corruption is already bad enough. Why does it have to be any more corrupt than it is? I mean, where are we going with this? I mean, what good does it do you to know this, whether it is or good or bad? Is this not exactly the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, knowing both good and evil? Why do we have to make it so much more evil? It's not a story about the devil. It's a story about the Messiah. He's trying to teach you a story about himself. Everything in that first book, everything in every part of that book, from Genesis to Revelation, is all about his story. It's all about the Messiah. Why do we have to make everything about Satan? I mean, it's good to know your enemy. Paul says we should be wise as serpents, but gentle as doves. But at the same time, why can't the story simply be about the Messiah? Anyway, I'm not yelling at you. I get really impassioned about this stuff because this is my book. I mean, I spend more time in this book than any of the others because I believe that he has told us our end from the beginning. And I don't think it needs to be any more than it is. I don't think we need to throw in, yes, there are two seeds. I do believe that there are two seeds, but I don't believe that the whole thing has to be all about, for unlawful carnal knowledge. There are clearly two seeds, and I don't think we need to debate that any further than that. The seed is in itself a teaching. And whether you're going to be honest or you're going to be corrupt. And how does the evil get into a person? Through seduction, through deception. Promise you one thing but deliver another. Through words. And that's what it is. It all comes down to words. It comes down to sound. The whole creation was spoken. God said, let there be, and there was, and he saw that it was good. Everything has been corrupted through words. Huh? Did he not say, you would surely die? Well, you shall not surely die. It was all corrupted through the spoken word. I don't think it has to be any more than just the spoken word. Words can twist, or words can make straight. That's what Wicca comes down to. Twisting words to suit your selfish desires. That's what Kabbalah comes down to. Ultimately, if you look at the root of Kabbalah, it's taking the Hebrew language and forming words to manipulate reality. That is a knowledge of both good and evil. And it all comes down to the heart condition. Are you doing things for yourself? Are you doing things to praise Him and to benefit your fellow man? You know, I don't see how any of this, knowing whether or not, Cain is, the literal and deliberate seed of the Dark One, has any bearing. I think it's a fruitless endeavor. I think that you're right to search these things out, but I don't think it needs to be so convoluted as that. I don't believe that. I don't. We get so caught up in flesh and blood and forget completely the spirit of the matter. It's supposed to be in spirit and in truth. And I don't know how mixing that one little detail in there makes any difference to whether or not you should be doing what you're told, or whether or not you should be doing that which is pleasing to your master. But, yeah, I mean, I find this important. I do. I find this very important. I care. And, I think that if we, it's, what is it, the KISS concept? Keep it simple, stupid. That's what I say to myself every day. Just keep it simple. It's a simple teaching. If we just keep it simple, we'll get something from it. Just keep it, and I get my other friends who are all into the drosh and the sod level of things. And I'm like, man, just keep it here. There's wonderful things to be found in that. Yeah, but don't make your entire search be about those esoteric endeavors. I mean, just simply be taught. And, find comfort in the Word instead of finding desolation. It's a mindset. It's a heart condition. And, I wish you guys nothing but the best. I want you to really get this stuff. But at the same time, I don't think knowing this is really benefiting your walk. And that's just my opinion. I mean, you can take it for what it's worth. It's just my, my belief. But what I know is true. What I've confirmed is that, Adam knew his wife. That's all that matters. And then, his seed was already, his line was already corrupted from his own sin. So sin crept in from that origin, and was compounded by Cain deceiving himself into thinking that he could do it his own way, and then there would be no consequence. And that's all the further you need to take it. And forget about, eye of whore and all of this stuff. I mean, he doesn't want us really knowing all this stuff, because it always comes back to bite us in the butt. Somebody always ends up uncovering this information and then starts worshiping in that way, which he told us not to do. At any rate, I mean, I'm just belaboring this. I should probably just let it go. But yeah, we can twist scriptures to meet any point of view that we want to, frame up. I mean, we can take isolated sound bites and create entire theologies over something that really isn't so. I mean, look at Catholicism. and then by and large, look at Protestantism. I mean, it's not walking according to the Bible, especially this Western greasy grace, sloppy agape, prosperity gospel. That's not what my Bible reads, man. Especially in a day like this, when I know that I'm going to be persecuted, I don't really need to hear, no harm will come to you. Hey, if you just give your 10% religion tax, he'll return it to you 100-fold. Yep, just pay into my coffers. I don't subscribe to that. But yeah, I mean, it's just me ranting now. It's just me, so, it's fine. Move on. It's really nothing for you here. It's just,